camera okay?
Yep, camera's good and we're live.
Okay. Hey, hi everybody. Thanks for tuning in here. The first thing I want to do is I found this cat. Okay, it's a nice cat. It's a kitten. And the lady that was going to take it, I can't get in touch with her, and I worked with the cat for 3 weeks. So I want to show you the cat. It's a kitten. It's a beautiful cat. It's got 6 toes. And I named it Sylvester. But anyway, I think it's a girl. But it's a nice cat, and I'm going to let it in and show you the cat. All right? Because I can't keep the cat. My husband's allergic to cats. And you know I love birds, so it's scaring away the birds. So just hang on a second. Come on, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Kitty, kitty, kitty. Okay. This is a cat. This is the cat. Now, I've been working with it for 3 weeks, so I've been petting it, but today's the first day that I've been holding it a lot. It purrs. It's a nice cat. I taught it how to, put its hands out when I scratch its belly. So it's a really, really nice cat. But if anyone that wants a cat, please get in touch with me because I can't keep the cat. Whoa, whoa, whoa. No, you don't. I can't keep the... Oh, come here, kitty. Come here, baby. You gotta go out. I can't keep the cat in here because, it climbs on everything. Cat climbs on everything in here, so I can't have it in here either. Anyway, if anyone wants a cat, it's a beautiful cat. I wish I could take it. All right, I want to talk to Christine Vader. Is Christine Vader on there? These are questions that people had asked prior, wanted to know answers to. So, if Christine watches this later, maybe, or if she's on, I don't know.
She's not on yet.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, because I can't see for squat. All right. So Christine Vader had asked about books for beginners, what to read. I would recommend Moon Magic by DJ Conway. I would also, I do enjoy the Ravenwolf Solitary Witch. It has a lot of information in there that you could use as a reference book. There's also a very old book. It's an Intro to Wicca book. That is a good one. I believe it's Ted Andrews wrote that one. There's The Witch's Bible, which is good. It gives you some old history on Wicca and some practical magic points. The Witch's Calendar actually has a lot of information in it for beginners. So, I've got a multitude of books, but if you, Christine, if you wanted to come in or call me up, I have a list, a huge list of books that I like. And, there's a lot of books out there now that are, they don't have enough meat in them, it's just a bunch of fluff. But the ones that I mentioned have meat in them, so to speak. You also wanted to know how to set up an altar. An altar can be set up in many different ways. It could be square or round, that's your preference. It should have a cloth on it. And it should have a representation of all of the elements, which is east, south, west, and north. And east is traditionally the athame, atame, I call it a knife. That goes on the right, which represents the element of air. And then in the south, you can use a candle to represent fire. And then on the left side, you're going to have water, which is a chalice. And then in the north, you're going to have, I have a gemstone bowl with rice in it and some rocks, And then you're going to have a representation of the god and the goddess. Also with candles in front of that representation. And also you need a sage pot, a candle snuffer. And the candles that are a representation of the god and the goddess should be white. You can also have candles behind them, or that representation of the season or holiday. And then you're going to have an incense burner. Now the incense burner should traditionally be on the right. That's also air. I keep mine on the left because I just don't have enough room here. But that's not really considered a working tool. If you can't or don't have these tools, you can really improvise. You can use, say for air, you can use a feather. For south, you would still use a light, a tea light, either an actual tea light or one of those fake tea lights. Anything represent fire. And then in the west, for water, you could use like seashells. And for the north earth, you can use some stones. For your representation of your god and goddess, generic, you can use a white crystal and a black crystal. Or you can use figurine. For years, I used a figurine candle of a man and a woman. For years. And that's the minimal. Don't forget your lighter. That's the minimal that you should have on your altar. You can also use an altar as a portable altar and take a suitcase or a hat box and put all these items in it and cover it up and shove it under the bed so no one knows. You can also use a dresser in the closet, but be careful with the candles, and store everything in the drawers. It could be placed in either direction that you choose or the center. Some people move it according to season or the work that they're doing. Some people keep it in the center at all times. I keep mine in the north because I'm bad with directions, so I know my altar's facing north, so I know right's east. And also north is for manifestation, so I like my altar in the north. You also asked about saging. I went over that in the introduction video of when you sage, you start at the east and you go around in a clockwise direction with the intent of removing any and all negativity from that room. And you imagine in your head black ashes coming together like a black ball, and you throw it into the ground. You don't want to throw it outside because that's negative energy. You don't want to do that. Just give it to Mother Nature to recycle. Energy is energy, and it will be neutralized. Then you're going to call upon the source of creation, and you're going to call down a gold light to replace what you've gotten rid of, because you left a hole. When you're working with energy, you have to replace a higher vibrating energy with a lower one that you just got rid of. Now, whenever you do anything that is other than on the physical plane, you have to ground yourself, which is rooting yourself like a tree so you're safe and secure. And then you're going to connect to a source of creation, and then you're also going to put a bubble around yourself as protection of nothing getting in, nothing getting out while you're doing your work. With the intent, when you're done with your work, it'll all come down so you don't forget. So you do that with each room. You can also do it around the outside of the home, and imagine a bubble coming up above and below. The floor or the ground would be the diameter. So that's how you raise the vibration, and it also keeps out the negativity when you clean a space. So I hope I answered your question there, Christine. D. Shannon McCoy wrote in before this to John about seeing numbers all the time and even dreaming about numbers. Well, our subconscious works in symbols. So, D, your subconscious is trying to give you messages here through numbers. So I would suggest that you take a look at numerology.
Can you bring the mic closer?
Oh, closer?
Yep.
Just move it like that?
Yep.
Is that better? Is that better?
I think so.
Yeah? Okay. So if you look at numerology, and I can also help you with that, as far as to figure out what's what, and to figure out, is this really a message, or is my mind just constantly looking for numbers? If the number presents itself to you without you looking at it, looking for it, then I would say, yeah, it means something. Or if you see the same number again and again and again, yeah, it means something. So, numerology is pretty simple. So if you come in, I'll explain it to you gladly. I can explain it really simple to you about how numerology works and what the numbers mean, and also how they relate to spiritual progression and energies. So I'll do that for you, no problem. Jessica Signon wanted to know about strong intuitive feelings and anxiety that comes with it. Well, a lot of people that are sensitive emotionally, uh, we wouldn't be able to pick up anyone else's feelings if we were not sensitive, very sensitive. But we have to learn how to protect ourselves against the onslaught of not only people but vibrations that are out there in the world today. So, what I suggest to you is to create a bubble around yourself when you go into crowded places, movie theaters, schools, shopping centers, concerts, bars, whatever. Put a bubble of light around yourself with the intent when you leave that space or get in your car to go home, the bubble will come down. Also, you can't walk around open all the time. And I think this is one of the hardest things that people have to do. Now, it took me a while. I was a child, but it took me a while to learn how to shut it off and turn it on at will. So what you have to do is you have to keep focused on the physical world and not let your mind wander. And sometimes when we are intuitive, our mind all of a sudden just opens up. The subconscious will just open up. We have to learn how to control that in allowing the subconscious to open and to close. Otherwise, we don't have a life. You're onslaughted with these emotions of other people, and if they resonate with you, they could actually grow and manifest, and you don't want that. So protection is the best thing for that. And also, as I was a kid, this is the easiest way to explain it. Look up My Favorite Martian. Bill Bixby was in it. It was in the 60s. I'm sure you can find it on the internet someplace. And look at My Favorite Martian. And when he puts his antennas up, they're really weird looking. It's just a aluminum foil ball on the end of a stick, and it made a funny noise going up and down. Well, you can imagine antennas up, that's when you're open, and then pull it down and antennas down. And that's how I was taught with that visual and that noise to turn it on and turn it off. And it comes in handy and it's very simple. So look that up, and that might be a big help for you as well as using a bubble. As far as the anxiety goes, I think that will deter a lot of your anxiety because you're feeling other people's feelings. And sometimes it could be very strong feelings. Sometimes it'll still get through. So you have to remember that they're not yours. So you can't feed into them. So if you have any other questions about anxiety, and that has to do with protection, build your protection, build your personal power, learn how to turn it on and off, and that will deter a lot of your anxiety. And you can put the bubble up when you're sleeping too. And I do suggest that. So your subconscious is not open when you're sleeping. I've got here now this thing of people typing in. Am I close enough to the mic? I hope so.
I believe so.
Okay. Anybody writing any questions in here? I don't see any questions.
I don't see any questions yet.
Okay. Anybody have a question about anything? I'll be more than happy to try to answer that for you. Otherwise, I'll talk about the holiday season. How about that? Now, I'm Wiccan, but I was not raised Wiccan because Wicca didn't exist. I was raised Roman Catholic, but I am Wiccan now. I didn't throw away the whole thing, the connection. And I don't diss any religion. I think all religions are valid, but I do practice Wicca. So for me, the holiday, it's funny how the holidays kind of coincide with each other. So we have what regular people call Halloween on the 31st, which goes back to the Christian holiday of All Souls Day. And before All Souls Day, they had the negative spirits come out, and that's why people wore masks, so to scare the spirits, and this way they won't notice who you are, blah, blah. And that turned into, hey, give me candy. So people do consider it the roots of paganism, which it is. But it's also a holiday in the Wiccan tradition of honoring the ancestors and the ones that you have lost in the past year. It's a time of divination. It's a time when intuitive information comes in loud and clear. And it comes at you like a freight train because you're able to tap in easier, I guess you'd say. Also, it's a great time to talk to ancestors at this time and loved ones. And it's also the ending of the year. We have the beginning of the year coming in December with the winter solstice, and that is when the God energy is reborn. Right now, the God energy is going underground to take care of the dead. That's one take on it. Another one, and the God doesn't die. He just kind of babysits down there, and everything gets cold up here. That's one of the stories of how that came to be, which is with Persephone and all that, if you want to look that up. But it's about seasons and cycles and energy is really what it's about. So in the coming holiday in December, which is the winter solstice, and that is the longest night of the year. And after that, the day starts to get longer and longer instead of, now it's at its shortest at the winter solstice. So it's hope for the new year. It's in my family, what we used to do is we used to take pots and pans and bang them with spoons, through the house and shove the energy out the door. That's what we did. And it was also to bring good luck. So, and we did it at midnight. So all the kids and my parents and all do that. It's kind of noisy, woke up all the neighbors, but we did that every year. It was freezing cold. So it's a time of, the winter solstice is a time of new beginnings, a time of hope returning, the light returning, because right now we're headed into the dark. We're headed into ourselves. We're headed into introspection. It's a time of endings. And with every ending, we have a new beginning. So this time of year, a lot of times you'll find yourself having losses. And that could be people, places, things. And if you are Wiccan, and if you are even if you're not Wiccan, if you're in tune with these energies, you're going to have something presented to you for you to get rid of so that you could bring in something new in the new year. So that's really the short story of it. There's many, many myths and fables and stories and rituals about both holidays, and they're all wonderful. So I do suggest that you research, the descent of Inanna, which I usually do on Samhain. That's going within. There's also the story of Persephone and Hades and Demeter, and that is a good one too. For the winter solstice, we have the God being born again, and that's in a lot of religious teachings. Doesn't matter which one it is, there's still something being born that time of year. So if you look it up and you research religions, it's very interesting to see how they all coincide with one another. Heather, the Hulk, Bill Bixby. Yeah, Bill Bixby was in the Hulk, but this was before the Hulk. This was way before the Hulk. So look up My Favorite Martian. It was even before the courtship of Eddie's father. I think the Hulk came before. I don't know which one came first. I think the courtship of Eddie's father came before the Hulk. But before that was My Favorite Martian in black and white. Take a look at it, John. Heather, are you Heather Hatto? Hi, Heather. Heather wants to know, am I doing classes to hone into abilities? I do teach psychic development, and it is a series of 10 classes, and it's usually on a Saturday at 11 o'clock, and it's 1 hour, and it's twice a month. This way it gives you time to integrate and digest the information as well as to do the exercises, because there's only 15 minutes of exercises, and each class incorporates more exercises into that original 15 minutes. It doesn't make the 15 minutes longer, but what happens is you start to do the first 15 minutes quicker, so that when the second class comes, you could shove it in there and you're still doing 15 minutes total. I go over the conscious mind, the subconscious mind, the higher self or superconscious mind. I go over false images. I go over the umbrella of what is ESP, which, like telepathy, is under the umbrella, but it is not psychic. I go over the mental mind. I go over spiritual progression. There's exercises there that you can do, and some of them are really fun, and that you can share with others. There's one that I really like. So I go through a progression of that, but the main thing is you have to want to be it. You have to want to do it, and you have to apply it, because if you don't apply it, I can tell you about it from here until the day I die. It doesn't mean that it's going to happen for you. So you have to work on yourself, and you have to be very dedicated. It has to be part of who you are, not what I want to do. The initial, I want to do that, then that's it. The next thing you need is your perseverance and your commitment. If you commit yourself, you will get results. It's not going to be instantaneous. It might take 6 months. So what? Don't give up. If this is what you really want, you will get it. Spirit is not going to go, hey, after you go, hello. No. There has to be a constant knock, 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 knock. Constant onto the subconscious mind from the conscious mind in order for anything to happen. So you have to have perseverance and you have to practice. But I do teach that. If you wanted to do that yourself, meditation is the way to start. If you don't meditate, I would suggest a guided meditation to help you with your visualization skills. I would also suggest, after you get used to that, to do a receptive meditation. And I can teach you that. You can come in. I'll teach it to you for free. I don't care. But you need to start to go in. See, to go in is to go up. So you have to go in. So I would suggest starting with a guided meditation if you want to do it on your own. John Ramsey, diffusers and oils. Diffusers, yeah, I like diffusers. They come in all different forms. They come with a candle. You put a tea light in it. They also come electric. But as far as diffusers are concerned, a lot of people are under the misconception that you just pour the oil in and walk away. No. First you put water in it. You don't want the oil to stick to the diffuser. You put water in it first, and then you put in 3 drops of oil to start. Let it heat up. Leave the room for 10 minutes or leave the house for 10 minutes. Get some fresh air. Come back in. You'll be able to smell it, because as the smell permeates, you won't be able to smell it after a while. So leave and come back. If you want to put more oil, put more oil. When you're done, the reason that you want to put the water in is because of evaporation, number one. The other thing is you don't want the oil to stick on the diffuser, because I've done this. And I even used one of those green scrubbies, and I couldn't get it off. So I ruined it. So what I did is I used the water. Then, when you go to clean it, you dump it down the drain. Use rubbing alcohol on a paper towel. Wash it with soap and water, and then rubbing alcohol again. And that will take away any oil residue so that it doesn't stick. And then the smells don't meld together, because it smells god-awful when you're using like 20 different kinds of oils and they all mix together. It's not good. So diffusers are good for creating a lot of ambiance in the room. They're also good for ritual, to raise the vibration. They're good for relaxation. You know, you can use diffusers and oils for many, many different things of what you want to do. Or if you just want the house to smell nice. I mean, it's up to you. Some people use diffusers as nightlights. I've seen that too. But I would recommend only using an essential oil, not a mineral oil. You don't want to use an oil that has a mineral base. It smells awful. It's man-made. It's gross. So I would suggest a concentrated essential oil only. And you only use a little bit, so it's going to last a long time. Okay, John. Yeah, it'd be nice to see you, John Ramsey. Rachel Phillips. I'm not sure what this is. Rachel, this is a live stream from the Labyrinth, and I'm here to answer any questions that you might have about anything. And that's really what it is. So it's up to you what it is. So ask a question. Okay. Heather Haddo asks, Do some people are born with it and others have to practice? I'm assuming that you're... What's that blue thing? You see that blue thing just go across me? I saw it on here. That's weird.
Oh, you might have seen a thumbs up icon.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, that
Yeah.
scared the crap out of me. I'm thinking, no, there's an orb in front of me. Well, who the hell is that? Who's dead? Yeah, well, you know, 'tis the season, so I got people dropping dead in my family all over the place. So they're ready to go. I'm thinking, oh, somebody died. Anyway. Okay. Where was I? Oh, some people born with it, some practice. Now, I think everybody is born with intuition. Of course we are. I mean, you know, years ago when we were living in huts and stuff, men are out there, you know, hunting bears and big game, and trapping rabbits and stuff. Well, they had to know if a bear was behind them, right? I mean, everybody knows, like, when someone's watching you or staring at you and you're not even looking at them. Men and women both, doesn't matter. You'll know it. It'll creep you out. That, you come into the world with that. You come into the world with intuition. You come into the world with knowing, you know, that gut feeling. Everybody has it. We don't listen to it often enough, though, sadly. However, I do believe that there are people that have a heightened intuition due to genetics. I believe that. I also believe that if someone has intuition, yes, they can heighten it. But again, it takes practice, discipline, perseverance, and you can't give up. And you have to remember this. And a lot of people think that having a heightened intuition is fun. Well, it has its perks, okay? But it's not what you think. It's really, I was taught that it was a responsibility, and it's a burden. Sometimes I wish that I was clueless, that I was, you know, ignorant and blissful, you know, instead of, shit's gonna hit the fan, you know what I mean? But it's different. It's different. I think that when you go in and you go up, you're guided. So that is a wonderful thing, that you are guided by that inner knowing. So if you do want to learn about that, you have to apply education and you have to put the work into it, and it will happen. But you can't give up. So I do believe people can heighten their intuition, and I do believe everybody has it, and I do believe that some people come in with more than others. Oh, John, yes, John's asking about oils. Yes, I have essential oils. I have a ton. They're $8.99. Just letting you know, because I know that was probably going to be your next question. And they're essential. No, there's no base oil in it. You could even take some of that essential and mix it with a base and extend it. You know what I mean? You can do that. I have people that do that, especially ones you want to apply on the skin, but certain things you don't want to. Anything in the pepper family, the citrus family, you know, cinnamon, dragon's blood, you don't want to put that on the skin. I would use the flowery ones on the skin. That's about it. Okay, or anointing. If it's specifically for anointing, we do have those too. Hey, Tina, how you doing? Okay, does anyone have any questions about anything? Type it in there. The other thing I want to talk about is another one of the misconceptions about being psychic. You know, a lot of people think that when you're psychic, you know everything. Well, that's not true. Being psychic, like someone says, well, if you're a psychic, you should know what my name is. When they call me up and I ask them what their name is. Well, first of all, I'm terrible at names anyway. I don't remember names. But that's not what psychic is. Psychic is picking up subtle energies from someone. Someone's name can change from lifetime to lifetime, or in this lifetime. It's a name, okay? It's not who you are as a person. It's just something that someone called you instead of, hey, you know? Something that your family named you. But being psychic is picking up energies, whether from the living or ones that aren't in body, or even animals. No, you don't know the lottery numbers. No, I've gotten that gazillion times. Well, if you're psychic, you should know the lottery numbers. Well, being psychic isn't for that. You can't put a price tag on someone's um, direction in life and pointing them in the right direction, or showing them something that they didn't know that was in front of them as far as choices go. You can't put a price tag on that. They could take your advice or not, but when they come to you and you say, hey, this is what I see, you're non-judgmental. You're not telling them what to do. You're just showing them options, their choice to take it or not. So you're not carrying that responsibility. You're not there to change anyone's life. You're there to show them different options so they can change their own life. And that's the hard thing about, I think, being psychic. You got your the stupid human factor, what I call it, and then you got your spiritual side. Well, the stupid human factor wants to, smack them upside the head, and say, what the fuck you doing? Oh, sorry. Which sometimes I do say, what the fuck you doing? But I don't smack them. But, or I'll say, what do you, huh? What? And then I'll look at the cards and I'll show them all these options that they have, which they didn't see. Now, they have a choice to take that or not. I'm not going to berate them for it. I'm not going to judge them for it. I'm just saying, hey, look what you're doing. Is this what you want? It's your choice. It's your free will. And a lot of times, a lot of people might hear the same thing that I say to them from friends or relatives. And when I say it, they tend to listen because I do one of these verbally, But they can listen to everybody else and not take that same advice, I guess it's like, talking to a hairdresser. You tell the hairdresser everything in your personal life because you never see him again probably, right? It's the same thing. But it's up to them to make that change, not you. You can't change anyone. You can't fix anyone. You really can't heal anyone either. This whole thing about healing, you can give healing energy and supportive energy, but it's their free will to use it or not. You can't make someone do something. Technically you can, but you're going to get a big boomerang if you do, so you better not. It's not worth it. It's not worth it to you or to them. Why would you want someone to do that to you? I don't think so. And anyway, it might bounce off and bing you in the head. Hello, Tina. Hi, Rachel. How you doing? How the difference if it's your intuition or your mind? That's a good question. And I always say, is it me? First, I used to say, is it me? Is it spirit or is it Memorex? There was the old Memorex commercial with Aretha Franklin, I think it was. Then I went, is it me? Is it spirit or is it my psychotic mind? Yeah. Well, this is how you know. Spirit is not going to scream at you. It will be still and quiet. That's why you need to be quiet and still to get the message. It will not go against your ethics, your values, or your morals. It will not tell you what to do, and it will not be anything negative, and it's a suggestion. You have the choice to say yay or nay, which, you know what? You're not judged or punished if you say no. I have several things in my life that I've been working on, my whole life. Now, am I going to beat myself up over it? Nope. Spirit keeps telling me the same thing again and again. Do I act on it? Nope. But I have to live with the consequences of that. You see, I'm not punished. You can choose not to. So, to know if it's spirit, again, it is quiet. It is non-judgmental. It is not negative. It doesn't go against your ethics, values, or morals. It doesn't tell you what to do. And it's a suggestion, and it serves your best and highest good. So you have the right to take it or not. I hope that that answered your question, Rachel. This weekend we're open from, John wanted to know, Saturday from 10 a.m. until 7 p.m. We have our psychic fair this Saturday from 10 to 4. We do that the last Saturday of the month. Starting in November, we will be open on Sundays from 12 to 5 through April. And then starting in May, we will be closed again on Sundays because then it's off season. So I only have one more Sunday off, I think. Okay. I'm having a gathering for Samhain. I wish I could have a gathering for Samhain, Helen, but unfortunately, since I've had the store, I have not been able to do a lot of ritual work. I did have a coven for 14 years. We were never really disbanded, released. If we get together, we can still get together, but we don't get together and do formal rituals anymore. I just can't. I just cannot do it. I'm here at 90 hours a week. So what I do is I do my own private rituals now, by myself. And, you know, I do it very simple, very easy. I'm kind of lazy. I've gotten lazy. So, and also the Samhain ritual is normally a very long ritual because I go into the descent of Inanna. I also go into the dumb supper, which is you invite your relatives to join you for a meal. And there's different things on the plate that represent different things about life and about the god and the goddess. So that takes about 3 hours. So I normally do a very quick one on my own in private. I wish I could, but right now I can't. How do you communicate if they speak in a different language? You know, I've had this happen to me in a vision, especially of past life visions. And this is what you do. In your head, you say, English, please. That's all. And then you'll hear it in English. Because Spirit wants to communicate with you in a way that you can understand. I've also talked to people that have passed over that talk in a different language. They come in and they just start spouting German or, you know, Spanish. I know a little bit of Spanish, but not a lot. But German, I don't get. Russian, I don't get. Any of those. So all I say to the person is, can you please speak in English so I can understand? And all of a sudden, then in mid-sentence, it'll turn into English. So try that. It worked for me. You're welcome, Helen. Jamie Thornton Shubrook wants to know about spirit guides. You know, that's toughy for me. I think I've met my spirit guides 3 times, saw them twice. There's 3 of them, 2 men and a woman. An old man, a younger man, and a woman. Long dark hair, that's all I know. In a gazebo wearing white. Saw them through the forest first time. Didn't come close. Second time, they just stood there, didn't say nothing. Third time, I talked to the woman in the gazebo, but I don't remember a damn thing that I said or she said. And that was years ago. I think that our spirit guides, they're there. I have not had much luck contacting them. And I really don't want to. I think that's why. Because I'd rather be guided, just guided. I go to the source of creation. So if they're in the mix, they're in the mix. You know what I mean? But I think that spirit guides they're kind of below the source of creation, you know? So I'd rather go straight up to the source than deal with angels or other spiritual entities, which I have, but my main one is the source. But as far as spirit guides go, there are meditations out there to meet your spirit guide. There's also CDs, how to meet your spirit guide. Believe me, I tried them all. So you can try that if you want to, meet them, but I really don't put much importance on that because they just do what they do. To me, it's not a big thing. I'm sorry, that's just me. But if you want to meet them, you can. You can give it a shot. I haven't had much luck because I don't remember. So, sorry about that. I hope that answered your question, Jamie. I know it was kind of convoluted there. Does anyone else have any questions about anything this evening? Anybody want the cat? It's a nice cat. I wish I could take it home, but I can't. Let's see who else is here. Well, I want to talk about then. Let's talk about spirits and stuff. Being we got Samhain coming up. Um, I've done Samhain rituals of where I've had animals show up. You know, feel animals poking at my legs that are deceased. Um, a few of us one time felt another member of another coven show up. We've had deceased relatives show up, and if you're not used to that, you know, you might get scared or whatever. But uh, we were used to it, so it didn't scare us because, you know, spirits can't hurt you anyway. Um, they're dead, you know. They're not in a body, so I I don't put much stock in spirits harming you because you have more power anyway. You're in physical form. Um, but it is a time to commune with the deceased. So the easiest way to do it is to go into a meditative state. Remember to ground, connect, and protect yourself with the intent when you're done, everything will go away. And then close your eyes, and now you can't think about nothing. That means none of your problems, nothing that you got to do, you know, your to-do list in your head, especially if you're a woman. And then you've got to picture the person in front of you and then act like you're having a conversation. Just say hello and wait for them to say hello. Sometimes you might feel them sit next to you. You might smell them, which happens with me. I might feel them. I might see them. So you can't be emotional. That's the key. You can't be, oh, yippee, because now the connection will be broken. You can't be, oh, I'm afraid, because then the connection will be broken. You can't be, is this real? Is this my crazy head? Or the connection will be broken. So you have to be kind of like on autopilot with no emotion whatsoever, including fear. That's an emotion. So you have to make like you're someone else. Yeah, split your brain in half, make like you're someone else, and this way you'll be able to get the information that you're looking for. You've got to take the conscious mind and shut it down, and that's where the meditations come in to help you do that. Anyone else? Oh, I've got. Oh, closer to the mic. Okay, how's that? Good. I'm just looking here to see anyone else. Spirit got vivid dreams that wake you up. Now, I want to talk about, that's a good subject, by the way. Now, there's several types of dreams. We have dreams of where our subconscious dumps junk, you know, fears, anxiety, all that crap from the day, your life, all that stuff. It's just a dumping ground sometimes. Then we have dreams of where they're called lucid dreams. Now, lucid dreams are you're having a dream and you know you're dreaming. It's like you're watching the dream, you know you're dreaming, but you could change the dream, which is really kind of cool. So if you're having like a nightmare, say, I had a nightmare once of where, well, I think it was a lucid dream. I was being chased down a hallway in a school with, you know, they have the lockers, and there was these guys dressed all in black with black things on their heads, you know, with machine guns. And they were chasing me. And I hid behind a locker, and I thought, fuck this. I could change this dream. I'm in a lucid dream because I'm watching this dream. Well, I took out this big machine gun and I blasted him. And then I thought, oh, that was good. And then that was the end of the dream. So what the dream was trying to tell me, I think, was a part of me, because dreams are about you most times, a part of me needed to defend myself or needed to protect myself. And usually in dreams, whatever's coming at you is also a representation of you. So it must have been me fighting me, you know what I mean? If you really look deeper into it. So we have the lucid dream that you could change. Now we have dreams that are like visions. And these dreams are real. Don't think you're going crazy, because you're not. I've had several of these, and these were usually warnings, big warnings. One of them was when my grandmother died. I woke up to the phone ringing, screaming at the vision. And it was true. these are actually messages given to you in the dream state. Whereas in the waking state, they might not be able to get through. So they get through when you're asleep because the conscious mind is closed. So now the subconscious is open. That's why you need to put a bubble around yourself, not to protect yourself from the dreams, but other people's emotions. So you get a clear picture here. It feels real. It looks real. It's very vivid, very vivid. And if you get it in a row, which I did, get the same dream in a row, like me and my sisters both had, my sister has prophetic dreams. She had a dream that she saw a man in a coffin. I had the same vision of a man in a coffin. Now, we didn't see the head. Yeah, like Spirit's going to tell us, right? See, this is fun about being psychic. You're not told everything. You got to guess. That's horrible. But anyway, we get on the phone and we start comparing notes because we had it the same night. Now, we're guessing it's my dad, you know? No, it was my brother. We knew someone was going to die. We knew it was a male, but we didn't know who. And we guessed wrong. See? So, that's another thing. If you only get a piece of it while you're having a prophetic dream or a vision, sometimes your conscious mind has to figure out what that is. Because, again, it's symbology here. The only thing I can think of is that maybe Spirit didn't want to tell us who it was. Or maybe we didn't want to see who it was subconsciously. So it was blocked. Could be. Don't know. But it did happen. Seance. Okay, I want to talk about the seance. Now, the seance, I've been doing them for quite a while. And with the seance, what I do is first I clean the area thoroughly. And then I put a table up with a cloth, and I light a white candle. Several white candles. And I have a limited amount of people because I get a lot of dead people coming in. You wouldn't believe one person, how many lives they've touched or relatives they have. Animals, I mean, you name it, I get it. So what I do is I clean it first, I set it up. When the people come in, they are cleaned. We sit around the table. I create sacred space. I call in guardians to protect that sacred space. I call in the source of divinity to lend their energies to the night and our work that we're doing, because it is work. I also ask for positive spirit only. So that means if someone had a parent, brother, sister, child that caused them nothing but grief, why would I want that person in the room unless that person wants them, which is highly doubtful. We don't want to hurt anybody. So we ask for positive spirit only. Now what I do is after that, we sit around the table, and I bring everyone into a semi-meditative state. Then I go around the table and I ask each person a first name. And that's if I don't get people walking in already, because sometimes I do. I'll see people following people in. I'll see animals following people in on that night. See, because I'm already opening up to that vibration before it even starts. I'm already getting ready, you see. My brain is already doing its thing. So when we get in there, I ask for positive spirit only, and I ask the person who they would like to speak with. Sometimes if someone says one name, I might get someone else first, and then I'll get the person they're looking for. I really don't get names when I talk to spirits. Sometimes I'll get a letter, but most of all, I get their personality, what they're wearing, what they look like, what they did for a living, what their hobbies and interests were, how their lives were, because I'm shown their death first. And then I confirm, I just talk. And this way it's validated with that person. First I give a shout out and I psychically connect, and then I get more information, and then I actually see them. So, and then I'm able to have a conversation with them standing there. And then once everything is done, then I release them back to the realm that they came from, because they're really drawing on my energy to communicate, which is why I need to be grounded, connected, and protected the whole entire time. There's a lot of myths out there about spirits possessing you and all that. Nah. No. 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 Not unless you let it, and I don't let nothing. No. I'm too busy to have another thing in me, to be honest with you. I got too much to do. Deja vu, dreams, and changing history. Now, there's this theory. I've yet to try it, although I've been thinking about it for years. But there's this theory out there that if you can go into a past life regression or into a past life and change something in that past life, it changes all successive lives. Now, I thought about this for quite some time, and then I thought, no, because I might screw something up really bad. So I didn't want to do that. But there is a theory on that. Deja vu is, I've been here before in this situation, or I've been with this person before, and I have had many, many instances of deja vu. And I never take it lightly, because it feels like home is the only way I could put it. Whatever moment that is, it feels like you've been there before, you've done it. And I'll tell you a really funny story about deja vu. When I first met my husband, we went to a hotel one night, and it was the first time that we went to a hotel together. We were dating for quite some time back in the day. And I'm unpacking my things, and he's unpacking his things, and he turns and he says, "Did you remember the Q-tips?" And I said, "Yeah, I did." Now, at that moment, I knew that we've done that before, over and over. I knew that we would do it again, over and over. It felt just that one instant. I've also had deja vu moments with my children, of like a flash, like, one of them. I have had deja vu with myself, So, there are deja vu moments, but the thing about psychism and intuition and all that, you can't go looking for it, really. It'll come to you. You don't have to go looking for it. The only thing you need to look at is inside of yourself in order to raise your vibration, to connect better, and to get more information. It's not reaching out and grabbing. It's staying still and opening up to receive. And that's like the opposite of what people think. So I hope I answered that question. Oh, this thing just went crazy. If you want to go to a seance, but you don't know who to ask for, you have relatives, sweetheart. You didn't you didn't get hatched out of an egg. You didn't materialize out of thin air. So there are relatives of yours. Animals, possibly. You could ask for an angelic presence. I don't care. They're going to be there anyway. So a lot of people, they play with the Ouija board and they don't know how to use it right. And they don't put protection around themselves. And, they just, hey, hello to whoever. You just can't just say, hey, hello to whoever. Because the first idiot's going to come knocking through the door. You know how that works? Just like live people. You know what I mean? You say free beer, forget about it. So you got to be a little more specific in who you're asking for. You can just say a relative of mine that I didn't know that I have similar traits to, or someone that I inherited this intuition or this gift. And everybody has gifts. Even if you don't have heightened intuition, everybody has a gift. Singing, instruments, music appreciation, reading, education. Everybody has a gift. It just because you're not psychic or have a heightened intuition doesn't mean you don't have a gift. So everybody has gifts. Are they safe? Or what's safe? I don't know what she's talking about. Rachel, can you tell me? Oh, the Ouija board. Yeah, the Ouija board is safe, but you have to learn how to use it just like any other tool. You know, I just watched from 1984 Witchboard. Yeah, you guys are probably weren't born yet, but you know what? It's a kind of corny movie, but it's kind of cool. It's about, opening the door with the Ouija board, and the Ouija board starts to attack people and stuff because the spirit comes through and it lies. Well, it's half true. And I'll tell you why it's half true. No, Ouija board doesn't kill anybody. The Ouija board is supposed to be meant to be used this way. 3 people, number 1. 2 people to manipulate the planchette on the board, and 1 person to record what the planchette hovers over the letters. There should be a white candle that is placed furthest away from the tallest person. Like, say, if someone's 6 foot, you put the candle 6 foot away. And I would definitely put 4 candles, white ones. Okay. Now what you're doing is you are starting to create a higher vibration and a sacred space in your mind that nothing negative can come in. That's it. You're going to ask for positive spirit only, and remember that you have control. The power is not in the tool, and that's the misconception. The power is in you, just like a car. Cars don't drive themselves well, they probably do, but you know what I'm talking about. The car you have probably doesn't drive itself. You have to drive it. So it's the same way with a tool, whether it's a pendulum or a dowsing rod or a Ouija board or the tarot cards or the oracle cards or the fortune-telling cards or the runes. It doesn't matter. It's a tool. And a lot of people want to start at that tool, which I don't know why. I think it's all these movies. I would not, because that you're dealing with the spiritual plane without any feedback. And it is a little more intense than, say, learning how to use a pendulum. Okay? So it's like you're jumping from, a 10-story building instead of walking down 3 steps. You don't want to do that. You don't want to start at the top. You want to be a little more proficient in your grounding, your connection, your protection, how to get rid of stuff, how to turn it on, how to turn it off. You can't get afraid. And if these people come in and buy these Ouija boards, a lot of times I talk them out of it. I said, don't do it. You don't need that. Don't do that. You just want to have shits and giggles, go ahead. But I wouldn't recommend it because you don't know how to use it. So, the whole film industry around Halloween, I really don't like it because it puts a lot of mythology out there that is totally incorrect. And it scares the bejesus out of people. And if you look at the history of the movies out there, they're all backed by the Roman Catholic Church. Most of them. If you research it, I have. They want to scare you. They want to, Satan's coming to get you and all this crap. It's not true. By the way, met him. He's a wuss bag. You got free will, you can get rid of anything. You can't be afraid of nothing. Nothing can overtake you unless you allow it. You have free will. It's a wonderful gift. Good night, John. Sweet dreams. Rachel, intuitive with dead people. You get sick at grave sites. Don't get sick at grave sites. Grave sites, you shouldn't get sick. I think that's your fear. And you're not protected. So, like I said, spirit has to use you for energy to communicate. Remember, they're in spirit. It takes a lot of energy to communicate. So they're going to use yours. So all you need to do is to protect yourself. And anyway, graveyards, you don't need to be in a graveyard. No. What? That's where their body's at. No. You don't need to be in a graveyard. I get creepy feelings in graveyards too, because it's just death. It's rotting. You know what I mean? That's the only part I don't like about graveyards. It's not spirit energy. No, not at all. So, I've gone to grave sites because people have died, had to go. But I find it fascinating myself to read the tombstones. And I always wonder what that person's life was like, especially in Massachusetts. If you go there's There's a lot of history on the gravestones, and they're very artistic too. But don't get sick at grave sites. If there's someone, a beloved one that you lost, and now you're at the gravesite, remember this: they're not there. Their body is. Their body's there, but their spirit is not in that body. So, it's like eating a lobster and you got the shell left over. Okay, the lobster's still there. It's just a vessel, and I don't know about you, but I don't want to stay in the same vessel like for eternity, because this is getting old and decrepit and tired and worn out. I like a new one. I'd like a new one. So don't look at it as, oh, I feel sick because of the death part of it. I think that's what you're looking at, is the death part, the body part. Don't, because they're not there. Like my grandma said, life is for the living. Don't come visit me at my grave. I didn't. I went once. That was it. Because I know she's not there. She's been speaking to me ever since. Doesn't matter where they put the body. It doesn't matter. Yeah, gravestones. Yeah, how the gravestones are kind of cool. Years ago they used to write descriptions of what the person did. And it's really fascinating to see that. Years and years ago, the infant mortality rate was very high, along with women giving birth that died. You see a lot of that in the old cemeteries. The gravestones you can hardly read. Sometimes they'll let you do a gravestone rubbing, which is kind of cool. You take a piece of paper and a crayon and you rub it, but don't get caught. Some allow, some don't. But the real thin slate ones are the real old ones. You could barely see it. But it is fascinating because, you can even try to research that person in their life, especially if they were famous or infamous. It's really kind of cool. Good night, Helen. Have a good night. Does anyone else have any other questions they would like to talk about or answer or whatever? Any comments at all?
Here's a couple.
Yeah. I don't see any. No. What do I do?
You don't see.
I see Helen. Thank you, Debbie. See you soon.
Right. Nope, no, you were reading those. I'm so sorry. I'm multitasking over here. No, I didn't. Heather just asked a question.
Oh, didn't know I was allowed stone rubbing. Well, some do. Some do, Heather. Some don't. Some cemeteries you have to go in at a specified time and sign a book, and some you don't. Because they ask who you visited. Now, I don't know how it is here in Florida, because I haven't been to a cemetery in Florida. I've been to cemeteries up north where there was no one around. I mean, there was nowhere to sign a book, no nothing. Next thing you know, 10 years later, they put a road over it. You know what I mean? So it depends on the cemetery, but I know in Massachusetts they don't allow gravestone rubbing anymore. They used to, but they felt that they could have damaged the tombstones because they were so thin slate over the years and caused chipping or pock marks or chips out of it. So they disallowed that recently. But in other grave places, I went to one in Pennsylvania one time. There was no one there. I could have done a gazillion gravestone rubbings. So it depends on the graveyard that you go to. If there's no one's around, if they don't have rules up there, no gravestone rubbing, then don't do it. But otherwise you can. Oh, it just went blank. It just went boop. This is a, I must have touched something. Oh, there we go. What happened? I'll take that. Okay. So as far as gravestone rubbings, years ago they were very artistic. I saw one up in, I went to Pennsylvania, way up in the mountains, and there was this graveyard, and they had very ornate, huge, they had crypts, they had mausoleums, they had these huge, I even took pictures of these huge stone carvings in granite and marble of angels. Some of them were absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I couldn't imagine, the work that went into that. And they were beautiful. And I took pictures. Instead of a rubbing, I took photographs. But if you want to do a rubbing, a lot of people do it. And I've even seen calendars out of gravestone rubbings. You can look that up. They do make them. Hey, Amanda, how are you? Amanda, you got a question for me? Because I don't know what people are doing tonight. Was that the last one that was from Amanda? Okay. How much time we got left?
15 minutes.
Oh, so that's not too bad. Anyway, I would like you guys to type in to the Facebook of any subject that you would like to see me cover. I'm not going to teach a class live stream, sorry. You can come in for classes. That's why I'm here. But any subject that you would like to go a little more in depth with, or any questions that you would have over different subjects, like spells or, tools, things like that. I am teaching a new Wicca class, being we're open on Sundays in November at 2. And that's free. And that's a new series. And that goes a couple months, 2-3 months, whatever. And I teach a lot in that class. And if you're not Wiccan, you can use the same structure for many other religions. Because it's mechanics, and it has to do with using energy. Just like if you look at different magical philosophies. Okay, now Christian, even Catholic has it. Yeah, they do. The evangelical Christians, oh yeah. The Baptists, I've been to all these services, and if you have been, you will notice the energy. It's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, the energy. It's just great. But unfortunately, they just don't do much with it. It just kind of hangs around. And it's not really contained. But it is marvelous. It's a marvelous feeling. So with each religious tradition, we have magic, whether you realize it or not. Magic is magic is magic. The expression is the religious part of it. And it's really all the same. It's bringing something to you, repelling something from you. Different traditions have different philosophies as far as doing something against someone's will, or swaying them in a certain direction, or, spitting on someone, But magic is magic is magic. It's the intent of the magic that matters, not the magic itself. So just like with any tool that you use, it's really all the same. It's just a tool, But you have to use the right tool for the right intent. You're not going to use a pendulum for, I don't know. I don't use a pendulum to talk to dead people. No. I don't even use a Ouija board to talk to dead people. I used a Ouija board once. Scared the crap out of me, to be honest with you. This is before I knew anything about Ouija boards. This is before I knew anything about dead people. I knew nothing about nothing at that time. Young. I was 18. And I had this Ouija board, and I was expecting my first child. And I found a Ouija board under the bed. I figured, hey, Ouija board, let me give it a try, right? I asked one question. Is my baby okay? And I got no. Well, that scared the crap out of me right there. So, of course, I put the Ouija board back under the bed. And lo and behold, there was an issue with my child. She needed heart surgery. Well, even though I didn't get the answer I wanted, I got the truth. And it scared me. But now I know I shouldn't be scared by the truth. But I don't like the Ouija board. I like the cards. I just don't really resonate with it. And it's not from that. It's like, yeah, I know I can use it and it works, but I'd rather use the cards. I've been using them for 35 years. Not really the Ouija board, just like scrying. I see everything upside down and backwards and little. Um, so scrying isn't my thing either. I really don't use a lot of stones. I use them to create grids. I use them once in a while for meditation, but I wear them, you know. But I'm really not into a lot of stones. I'm more into the meditative, intuitive kind of stuff. The cards, the runes. I do use the pendulum. I don't read myself that often. It's very difficult. So when I do, which is rarely, I use 3 methods. I use the cards. I do a 10-card spread real fast. Then I'll take the pendulum out and I'll use that. And then I'll pull a rune. And if they all match, then I'm good to go. If not, I put it away. Because, you know, honestly, a lot of times I'd rather not know. I'd rather just be blind. Just let it be a surprise. I don't want to see it coming. Because, you know, if you see it coming and it's something that isn't so happy, you know what I mean? Like life-changing stuff or things that, you know, deep down, you know, oh, that person's lying to me, you can't change it. You know, that was the biggest thing, you know, growing up, trying to accept that what you see, you can't change. So that is like a double-edged sword there. You could see it coming. That's like seeing a train wreck and you can't stop it, you know? And you can't, even if you go around it to try to avoid it, at some point in time, it's going to happen over there. It just happens. You can't really avoid it when it comes to yourself. So I don't like the Ouija board as a tool, but a lot of people do. I think it has more hype. It does have a darker history behind it. I don't know. You can make your own Ouija board with letters and use a pendulum. You can draw it on a piece of paper. You can research the history of it. It's very interesting. It's got a lot of woo-woo around it, you know. Who knows if it's true or not. I think some of it is, some of it isn't. It was actually stolen. The idea was stolen from somebody. Somebody made it and then Harper Brothers stole it. And the guy that made it wound up jumping off a building. That's the woo-woo part. But there was another Ouija board before that too. So you could research the Ouija board to find out all about it. But it is just a tool. It does not have a spirit living in it. It's not going to attack you. It's not going to throw you against the wall. It's not going to have demons coming out of it. No, it isn't. It might scare the crap out of you, but that's about it. But if you know how to use it, you know, like when I use it, it scared the crap out of me, but I didn't freak out about it. I just thought, crap, I got a crappy answer. Now I don't want to use it anymore. You know what I mean? Like, thanks a lot, you know? But a lot of times, hey, if you're going to ask a question, you got to be prepared for the answer, whether you like it or not, if you're going to ask spirit a question. So, it might be something you don't want to hear. Hey, Vicky, how you doing? Class is preteen. Can you bring your son? Now, Heather, your son is a preteen? Yes, we do classes. Children are invited. Yes, they are. We do free classes on Saturdays that are free at 2 o'clock. My husband does a pendulums class, and he gives out booklets and teaches you how to make a chart. Very interesting and informative. He also teaches you how to clean it, program it, charge it, consecrate it, all that. And that's a great first tool for a young person. It's a great tool for an older person, too. It's a great first tool, I have to say, because you get instant feedback from that. My husband also teaches the crystals and gemstones class, and that's how to choose your crystal, how to use it, how to clean it, blah, blah, blah. He also does the crystal grids class, which is creating a grid of crystals to either bring something into your space or repel. I'm doing a free candle blessing class in November. I'm also doing a free frankincense and myrrh class, 2 of them, in December. One during the day, one at night. We also do the free Reiki healing every month after close. As long as I have your permission, as far as the magic or the Wicca class is concerned, I would have to have in writing that you are allowing your underage child to attend, because I need that to CYA, because I'm a firm believer that because kids before you know it, your kid might be taken away from you. I mean, I don't want to cause any problems, so I need to have your permission for that. As far as the other classes go, yeah, there's no big whoop about that. Not at all. It's just the Wicca one, if you were interested in bringing your son to that. As far as the psychic development class, I don't see a problem with that if you wanted your child to take that. Tarot, if the child is interested, I know I taught my niece a little bit about it, and also my granddaughter, and they just kind of threw it in the wind, They were 12, 13. They were going through puberty. So as far as anything real intense like that, I would wait a little bit. I would start with meditation. I would start with a little bit of pendulum work, maybe some stones, and then wait until you get into the more heavy-duty stuff like cards or, crystal ball or, anything like that. But there's a lot of beginning stuff that can be done with a teenager, preteen, or young adult. Let's see. You're welcome, Heather. Well, I wanted to. How much time we got left? We done?
No, it's only 8:20, 8:21 right now. We have 40 minutes.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, anyone out there? Are you hooked to my phone line?
No.
Okay. Well, guys, you can call in, on the phone. The number is 239 939 2769. And I could put you on speaker. You could do that. So it's 239 939 2769. The Labyrinth. You go to the website, click call. That's easy. Right? You all got your little phones, I'm sure, or your computer. Probably your phone. Just go on the website, the Labyrinth. Click it on there and call in. It's on the Google. You got to go on the Google, not on the site. You got to go to the Google thing to hit the call, because Google put that up there. It's easier. And you could call in. You can call in a question. I don't mind. I don't mind at all. I also would like to know if anyone out there. I would like some constructive criticism. A lot of people don't ask for that. I do. I'm asking for that. I'm asking for what you feel that can be improved to help you along your way. Anything that you would like to see changed here. I would like that, because, not a lot of people give me feedback. I do get feedback on the readings. I get feedback on the Reiki. But I don't get feedback overall, and I tried it. When we first opened, we did a suggestion box, and hardly anybody filled it out. And I was a little disappointed about that. I guess nobody had any complaints. But, if there's anything on your mind, give a call in or type it in, whatever you want to do. So, do we have on the Facebook anything that has to do with Samhain? Did you put anything up there?
I've been putting quite a few things up on it.
Do you have like a meme? Because I have to go to the bathroom.
I never put a BRB screen. I can put the technical difficulty thing up.
Oh no, don't. He's got this thing, yeah, but it doesn't have the noise, so it's not going to be the same. Years ago, the TV, you only had certain channels, like 3 or 4, and it was in black and white, and it came on at like 4:30 in the morning with the American flag, with the Star Spangled Banner music. That was the beginning of the broadcast. Then you had the Farm Report, which I loved watching when I was a kid. Then at night, when the TV went off at like 11:30, you got this big round circle thing in black and white, and it made a noise. It just went beep, and then you got snow. So John found one of those things and showed me, and I laughed because it reminded me of when I was a kid.
Oh no, we just disconnected for some reason.
What?
Disconnected. Reconnected. Okay, we're back.
Okay.
We disconnected for some reason.
Oh, okay.
You know what? I am gonna put up the technical difficulty thing.
Oh,
Just
okay. We're gonna now. So he's gonna. I don't know if you heard me about the technical difficulty thing, but John's gonna put up the technical difficulty thing for like 5 minutes, okay? Because I have to go to the bathroom, but I'll be right back, okay? So he's gonna put this thing up. You got music to go with that or something?
No, I need to. I will next time. I promise.
Okay, then you have to sing. You have to do the Jeopardy song then. So amuse yourself for 5 minutes and I'll be right back. And type in some more questions, okay? Because you know my legs are getting numb too, and so is my butt. So I got to get up for a few minutes. Ow.
We're live.
Oh, okay. It doesn't show it on my screen. It will.
Little bit of a delay there. Yep.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's see. Any questions? Hmm. Oh, thank you, Heather. Heather gave me a compliment. Yeah. Thank you, Heather. I appreciate that. I was looking for ways to improve. I wish I always feel like I'm not doing enough. I know that's weird. Uh, I always feel like I'm not doing enough, not giving enough. I'm not helping enough or giving enough information. I don't know. Just character flaw, I guess. Whatever. Codependent. That's it. Codependent. Um what is the most traditional observance of Samhain, and why do you say it takes 3 hours? Okay, because Samhain, the most significant part of Samhain is communing and honoring your loved ones that have passed before you. We have to keep in mind that years ago, people did not live long. We didn't have antibiotics. That's right. People died from malnutrition. People died in childbirth. People died by animals. People died by getting sick. So, we had a lot of stuff going on back then. And let's not forget, we had the elements to deal with. We didn't have air conditioning and heating, and we didn't have proper clothing, stuff like that. Or nutrition. We didn't have a lot of nutrition either. So we had a lot of diseases that were brought in from other people's contact with other people's, whatever. People didn't live long. So usually someone died in that year. Nowadays people live very long, well into their 80s and 90s. Where years ago, even when I was a child, people only lived till like 65. The joke was, oh, you retire and then you drop dead. Because that's usually what happened. Someone retired at 65, and by the time they're 68, they're dead. Now people live into their 80s and well into their 90s, and also able to live, not just exist. So there was always a loss. There was always a death within that tribe or that community. So they would get together to honor their dead. They would get together to thank the dead and their ancestors for their wisdom, for their guidance in spirit, because you're carrying that DNA. And so that's really what it's about. It's a very solemn holiday. It's the most solemn holiday in the Wiccan tradition. It's not celebratory in the way of yippee, it's spring. It's more of, I can't say funeral because it's not a funeral. It's just solemn and respectful and thankful of your ancestors and the loved ones that came before you to make you who you are. And so years ago, there was always a death every year. And that's the main significance of Samhain. The traditional observance is usually a descent into the self, and that's the descent of Inanna, if you wanted to look that up. It's very, very interesting. It comes from Sumeria, Babylonian area, but Sumeria, and they are on cuneiform, which are little round metal things that are stamped that they would roll out on clay. And that was in the Middle Eastern area. So that is well documented of the descent of Inanna, and which is a goddess myth. Inanna was a Babylonian goddess. So that's very interesting to read. It's actually a spiritual progression in going within, and the challenges that you might face of that, and then coming back with something. It's very interesting. And what we used to do is sit around the table. We had a table. And each person would read a part. And most times that applied to their lives. It was not pre-chosen. It was just, here you go. Then we would have the dumb supper, which is everyone would have a place set next to them to represent a relative that they wanted to call in to join them for this silent feast. And in that feast, we had an apple that we would cut, and it would show the pentagram. Then we had salt that would indicate the earth and the bitterness of life. And then we had the bread, which is the substance of life. So we would dip the bread in the salt, and we would eat the apple in silence. And we would have that empty plate next to us, and we would invite in our ancestor of our choosing to join us on this special night. And a lot of times we did get people. So, like I said, it's very solemn. After that, we would usually do it's a great night for divination and for scrying. So, if someone had cards, or someone had a pendulum, or someone had a crystal ball or a mirror, they would bring it, even a stone that they could scry into, to get messages from their loved ones if they didn't see them or if they didn't feel them, to get more information. That's why it took so long. And then after that, because in the beginning you have to set up, you have to clean it, you have to make your container, you have to call in the quarters, which is your protection and your witnesses. You have to call in divinity. Then you do your descent of Inanna. Then you would do the dumb supper. Then after that, well, before that, you would also do your invocation to the goddess and to the god. And then after that, you would do prayers. You would do the Great Rite, which is a representation of never eating, never being hungry, and never being thirsty. And it's communal, and it is everyone shares a story of who they would like to send healing energy to, or an issue, whatever they want to bring up, personal of themselves, to throw up into, the astral plane. And then we would do more prayers. And then after that, we would say goodbye to our relatives that joined us and thank them. And then we would say goodbye to divinity. And then we would say goodbye to the protection in the quarters. And then the circle will be pulled up. Once that was done, then we would have a feast after that to celebrate and talk about the messages that we got from our deceased loved ones, the experiences we had. Because again, it's very quiet. It's very personal. So there's not a lot of talking during that. That's why it takes 3 hours. So, and depending upon how many people are there and what kind of feast you got going on, it can go into the wee hours. Years ago, I used to do the Samhain rituals at midnight. Sometimes they'd go till dawn. They would go till dawn. That includes the feast afterwards. Go to dawn. Then as I got older, I said, I can't do this anymore. So then I would do it earlier at night. I would do it at 8 o'clock. And Samhain was the only ritual that I did at midnight. And the reason I thought for that was the correspondences of midnight, of the change and shift, and also, midnight, it's like in between day and night, It's the end of the night and the beginning of the day. So you're still in that in-between time. So that was a time I would time it exactly midnight of calling in the deceased. And that's why I did it at midnight. I did it at 8 o'clock after that. It worked out okay, but I still felt that the midnight ones were still a little more intense for some reason. And I did that for years. But really now, looking at it, now it doesn't matter to me what time of day. But, if you really want to get serious and solemn about it, as far as honoring your ancestors, just do it after dark. That's it. And it's a very solemn thing. It really is. It's I think it's better than a funeral. Sometimes there's crying, sometimes there's not. Sometimes there's crying tears of joy, but it's not that heart-wrenching grief anymore. It is more of, hey, come on in, let's talk, and thank you for what you've taught me, and thank you for your blood running in my veins, and thank you. It's just a big thank you, and very solemn. Hey, Christine, better late than never. No, you're not. Never. And Anna. Hello, Anna. So that's what Samhain is, and I find it to be, this year I lost a brother 2 years ago in April. I lost a dog. I always seem to get my animals coming in. But, everybody has someone they've lost. Recently a lot of people have lost a lot of people. They're just dropping like flies lately. Especially the older people. They're just going. It's their time to go. Also, we have a lot of accidental deaths. There's been a lot of deaths lately. There just has this year. So it's a great time to, what I say to people, even though if the person died in, let's say, a non traditional manner or was being an idiot and screwed up something, which happens, you honor their life and you look at the good. Even if they were the worst of the worst, there's got to be one good thing about them, and that's what you focus on, and that's how you honor their life, and you grieve their death, and you do something in memorial for them. And what I found that I really like to do, which was for my brother, I contacted a forest in Canada, and they put a plaque of his name on a tree, forever. It's a protected national forest. Now, all these Canadians up there are going to see my brother's name. They don't know who he is. I'll never see it. But it's the thought that counts here of that tree is going to stand, and that represents my brother. I tell people you can even plant a tree in their honor, which I've done that too. You can also do a perpetual candle online if you're an online person. There's lots of things you can do. During Samhain, we usually talk about the funny things, when we're having our feast of our deceased loved ones, of what was really important that they taught you. What did you like most about them? What stories did they tell you? And as we're eating, we're still talking about our ancestors. So it's really a very, very nice evening, but it does take time, and you can't rush it. If you have spirit coming in there, first of all, there is no time when you're in that space, and now you've got a bunch of spirits there, and they're talking to people, and before you know it, 2 hours went by, and you're like, what? In a blink of an eye. You don't even realize it because there's no time. So it does take time for everyone to get their messages and do their scrying, and do the dumb supper and read their parts of the ritual. That takes a couple hours right there. And then you've got your feast afterwards. So I've had it for 3 to 5 hours, actually. But when I do it myself, I do it very simple, very easy, very quick. I'm able to contact relatives anyway. But this is the time that I honor them. And that's when I do a lot of prayers. And people think that Wiccans don't pray. Yes, we do. We do pray. We do pray. Yeah, the fall is a good time to plant trees. The spring is a good time too. Any time is good. If you can't plant a tree due to inclement weather, cold, rain, whatever, you could plant it in a pot first and keep it in your house. I've got plants here. I got a black thumb. Anything I touch outside of here just friggin' dies. But in here, I got these plants here now. One's 11 years old. Yeah, who would have thought? And then I got an evergreen in a little pot. I figured that'd die in 1 year. My husband got me that for Christmas and for Yule. That's still sitting there. That's, I don't know, 5, 6 years old. And then I got a cactus that came back to life 3 times. So it's inside. So you can plant something in a pot inside and then later on take it out and plant it, when the weather is good. And you can also put energy around it to help it grow. Keep it rooted and help it grow. We've done that, and that works. That really works by putting energy into it. Oh, how nice. Jamie planted a tree in Israel for someone. That was very nice, Jamie. That is a great idea, too. See, you could plant trees all over the place. You could plant trees all over the place. So it's really a good thing to do because that tree's going to live. It's going to live a long time. And you're also helping the earth because trees, they put out oxygen and they take in carbon dioxide. They do that photosynthesis thing to make their leaves green, and it helps the earth. It's great because we cut down a lot of trees. We should plant a lot of trees. I love trees. They're good. Birds love trees too. Anybody else have any questions about anything? Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. What else I should talk about? Okay, let's talk about the next holiday, which is Yule. Yule, that's where all the Christmas time with the Christian. Now people look at Christmas as a social holiday mostly. I mean, I've seen agnostics, I've seen Wiccans, I've seen pagans, I've seen non-practicing Catholics and Christians all of a sudden celebrate Christmas. But they don't believe in God. They don't believe in anything. They don't believe in the source of creation. They don't believe in nothing. They figure it's just a holiday to give gifts and get gifts. I think that's what it's turned into. But if you look back in history, when we had the change of the seasons, we had 4 cross quarter days. We had the equinoxes and the solstices. So when we had the winter solstice, they did bring the evergreen trees inside, and they hung them upside down because the place stunk to high heaven by then, because you're living in a dirt hut with the animals, because it's cold. And they would decorate it, and they would put holly, and that's for protection and good luck for the coming year. And they would give a gift. Gift giving is not anything new to any religious practice. And then the Christians took it as, okay, we're going to give gifts to represent the gifts that were given to Jesus. Okay? And then we got Hanukkah with the Jewish people that give gifts for 7 days, I think it is. 7 days. And you get a gift each day to represent something of that holiday. So every religious tradition has some form of gift giving. Well, even in the winter solstice, there is gift giving, and it is a token. All it is a token. It's not this big, overboard, commercialized stuff. Because remember, years ago, people didn't have much. We didn't have supermarkets. We didn't have department stores. We didn't have much of nothing. So if someone went outside and took a piece of wood and carved something in it, that was a pretty flower, or maybe their favorite animal, and they would, make a little leather cloth pouch for it. Here's your gift, or here's something I painted with a stick, or here's a stick that I carved. Here's something I carved for you, stuff like that. It was a token of, of well-being for the new year, and showing hope and love and promise for the coming year. So gifts were given way back when. They really were. They didn't really celebrate that much, but being locked in a hut, a grass hut for I don't know how many months, man, that must have been really cabin fever. Especially got a big family, because there's no birth control. So you got this big family sitting in a cave, all stinky and stuff and cold. Got to keep the fire going. Got to bring in the air freshener because it's stinky by then because the animals are in there too. Let's give a gift. Here you go. Make everybody feel better. But that's just my own take on it. But gift giving goes way back, and it became very commercialized now, I think. I think that people have lost the essence of what the holidays are, whether it's Christmas, whether it's Hanukkah, whether it's, the winter solstice or Yule. I think that people have lost that connotation. I mean, I've been to Wiccans' houses of where they got a Christmas tree decorated with baby Jesus under it. Well, I don't. I have a little tree, and they did have trees back then, and my little tree has brooms on it, and a star on the top, 5-point star, and little gifts under it, and lights. But the lights came later. But that's traditionally what it is. The Yule log is another thing, and I love the Yule log, and one of the oldest songs, the oldest pagan songs, my father used to sing constantly through the house, constantly. Drove us crazy. Deck the halls. Yep. Look up the words to Deck the Halls. That is one of the oldest songs recorded, remembered, and it's still the same song. And it talks about Yule. It talks about singing. It's a joyful time, but it is about Yule. Decking the halls with boughs of holly, all that stuff. My dad, and that's one of the oldest pagan songs ever, is Deck the Halls. So whenever I get into Publix, during the holiday season and they're playing something I don't like, I start singing Deck the Halls right there in the produce department. And you wouldn't believe some people join in. So it's kind of a festive time. I amuse myself very easily with little or nothing.
10 minutes.
Okay. Excuse me. Jamie, I'm assuming they were Jewish, being you planted a tree in Jerusalem. And that's a good thing. I think they need more trees in Jerusalem. A lot of rock there, and sand. But trees nice. And that's a really good thing because, it's showing honor and it's showing respect to the person's belief system, whether or not you believed in it or not. And I think that's a wonderful thing. That's a wonderful thing. Ellis wants to know 2 things: protection from another, and what can I do to get rid of heartache or to move on in peace? Ellis, that's a toughie, to be honest with you, but I will answer that to the best of my ability. First of all, protection from another. Now, you can look at it on the physical plane. That means don't go near him. You can look at it on the mental plane. That means don't talk to him. No communication. You can look at it on the emotional plane. Don't feel bad. Don't think about it. And then you look at it on the spiritual plane, which is psychic disconnect. Write their name on a piece of paper. Burn it. You're dead to me. We're done. We're disconnected. Then you take another piece of paper and write what you want to replace it with. And don't say another love, another this. And be specific. Why don't you put something about yourself? To be more self-assertive, to be more confident, to be more creative, whatever it may be for you, write on that paper and burn it. Because now you're replacing a negative with a positive and you're doing a psychic disconnect. But you have to not think of that person again. If you do, which you might because your conscious mind keeps running the same tapes, cancel in your head. Don't feed into it emotionally or intellectually, consciously. Cancel it. And I like to think of My Little Pony with neon blue, shitting butterflies and rainbows. And hold that visual for about 20 seconds. And guess what? Eventually, that will get littler and less and less and less because you're retraining your brain. A new river's created, the other one's going to dry up. Because of emotion and thought together create pathways in your brain neurologically. That's a fact. That is a physical fact. So you have to undo that. And it takes time and work. So don't kick yourself in the butt if it doesn't work right away. Just keep at it. Eventually your conscious mind will get the message to shut it off. As far as spiritual protection, if you're looking for spiritual protection from another, first of all, don't be afraid. You're lowering your vibration. Okay? No. They ain't got no power. They're done. What? They can't do nothing. Who they think they are. Okay? Don't give them that power that you think they have. Don't do it. You can also set stones out if you want. See, it all comes from within you. You have to feel protected. You have to feel strong. If you don't feel protected, you're not. You could do a cleaning on yourself and reinforce, which is good. Reinforce yourself. Your bubble and your aura 3 times around and raise your vibration. Get rid of the nasty, yucky stuff. But you can do it on the practical level, the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual level. All 4. Tackle it on all 4. But the first thing is, you know what? just don't even feed into it, because now you're giving that person power, whether psychically or to their face. Don't do it. It's a waste of your energy. To get rid of heartache, the only thing I can say is that you have to work on yourself. That means making yourself feel good. That means having friends, having a hobby, doing things with others, doing things alone, realizing your self-worth, working on yourself. Because sometimes shit happens. People change. And you have to rely upon yourself, unfortunately, to pick yourself up. You're not as bad as you thought. And be good to yourself. And remember, it's a process. You might have one good day and then a bad day. You might have 3 good days and 2 bad days. Eventually, when you start feeling bad, do something good for yourself. If you like music, play it. Sing, dance, have a hobby. Look at the good things in life too. Look at nature. Nature always heals my soul. The birds, the animals, the trees. You know what? Because if not for nothing, they ain't gonna hurt me. Never. So I find beauty in that. So you have to look at the beauty in the world too. That will help. But you have to work on yourself. And I wish you all the best, because I know it's a tough road. Four minutes? Okay, well, I just want to thank everybody for putting up with me and commenting and asking some questions. There were really some good questions asked tonight. I really want to say that. Really some good ones. It shows, you guys got brains. I like that. Okay, I didn't get any off the wall stuff, which I usually deal with on a daily basis. But these questions were very, very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you, checking in. If you have any other questions, you can type it in on the Facebook, or you can call me up. You can come in anytime. I will not have a problem answering your questions or teaching you how to ground, how to connect, how to protect, how to clean, how to rejuvenate. Those are the basics of energy work. I don't care what religion you express it with. I don't care what you believe, but that is the building blocks of the beginning. So if you want to learn that, come on in. I will not have a problem teaching you that. I'll teach you very simple. And I want to thank everybody for watching. I didn't even curse, did I? Oh, I kept the cursing to the minimum. I'm proud of myself. See that? And again, if anyone would like the cat, it's a beautiful cat. Please keep me in mind, because I can't keep the cat forever. Can't do it, and it's outside at night. I don't like that. And it's a nice cat. So anyway, if you have any other questions, you can type it in, or you can call me or come on in. And the calendar is online for October, November, and December. Remember, don't email me, because I won't answer you. The fair's this Saturday. The hard copy for November calendar will be here. And I have a lot of new product coming in. I just got a lot of new product already for the season of Halloween. And also a lot of great things coming for October, November, and December. So check out the calendars. They're already online. If you're not on the mailing list, please join, because I got to pay for that anyway. And this way you'll know what's free and what's paid the next coming month. Because I only send out one a month. I don't like the computer, and I think it's really rude for people to barrage people with emails every 2 minutes. That really annoys me when I get it. So I don't do it. I do one. This is free. This is paid. This is what else we do. This is changes. Thank you very much. Bless you. Bye. That's it. Oh, and don't email me. And that's all I put in there. If you want to go to the calendar, you can click on it, and it gives you the description. You can print it at home if you want, or you can come in here and get one. Read it, because, you know, there's a lot of free stuff we do. A lot of people, oh, you're open on Sundays? Yeah, we've been open on Sundays for season for 11 years. Then when we close on Sunday, they go, oh, I thought you were open on Sundays. Ugh. Read the calendar. Read the front and the back. I didn't know you did pet readings. I didn't know you did house cleanings. I didn't know you did reading parties. I didn't know you did free weddings. I didn't know you did free hand fastings. I didn't know you did past life regressions. Yep. I didn't know you did free Reiki. Yep. Read the calendar. We do a lot of stuff. We also ship priority mail, insured, and tracked. 3-day. If you need any product, you call me up. I will be more than happy to research it and order it for you, because I am doing more orders. I got some coming in, and I got some more to do before the holidays, because, you know, it takes forever to get these things. I'm still waiting from, like, I don't know, 10 days ago for a really, really big order. Still waiting. It's coming from Canada. So let me know, and I'll be more than happy to I've got 2 new lines coming in too, so anything that you're interested in, just let me know. Okay? And I want to thank John. John, come here. Get in front of the camera. This is John. This John's been helping me for 11 years here. And, you know, he's really good at Facebook. And he's my Facebook geek. And you know what? He's real creative. He knows what to put up there. He takes pictures of the product. He knows what he's talking about. And he does a wonderful job. And I want to thank John, because you know what? He is cool. He really is a cool guy. Nice, a real gentle spirit, nice soul. Love him. So John's done a lot of good stuff here with this, because, you know, I know nothing about it. And he does. And he's done a real good job. So kudos to you. And thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight. And I hope everyone has a wonderful night, and blessings to everybody. Have a good one.